Alright, attempt number 3. Greetings, everybody. Invade and annex server. Admittedly on hold for now. I come bearing news of something else that I've been working on. If at any point I start to sound congested throughout this video, apologies. I am taking on a little bit of a cold right now. But I just wanted to, sorry. I just wanted to show you this little script that I've got. What I've got here is a console that has 3 options. Activate Raid Siren, deactivate Raid Siren, and sound all clear signal. If you've ever heard the sound of World War II Carter Air Raid Sirens, you'll probably get an idea of what this script is. It is a script that, runs, different sirens across the town. They make a noise, they shut down, and then another siren kicks up to take their place. So, as it stands right now, we've got these little towers over here. They're just transmitter poles with a couple of server generators and a power generator. It's a very simple prop, but I couldn't really find anything that looked more like a sci-fi raid siren in this kind of a configuration that I was looking for, to kind of emulate the actual sirens themselves. But that aside, I'll actually get to showing you the functionality of it. So we go up here into this little tower that we've got. We've got the console, and we hit activate the raid siren. And this is where the magic happens. You can hear a siren just sparking up now across the town. And right on cue, there it goes again on that side. That would be the northwestern side. And then right down here. Now the first 3... hold on, I will turn my effects volume down just so it's not as difficult to hear me. The first 3 are actually scripted. After that, because there was no other way I was going to be able to rig the sirens to spark up in the way that they do. It's a very particular... I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's a very particular way of doing it to emulate those old World War II British recordings. So one starts, and it's on a 7-second timer, then another one starts, 7-second timer again. The third one starts, and then it's a 15-second timer in this particular instance. And once that 15-second timer is up, it generates a random number. We've got 4 sections here. I'll actually draw it on the regular map. We've got 4 sections here. We've got the south sector, the west sector, and the north sector. Based on these, a random number generator will generate a number between 0 and 2. If it's, I believe it's 1, no, sorry, it's 0, 1, and 2. So if it generates a 2, it will generate a noise in the southern end of the town. If it generates a 1, it will spark up in the west, and if it generates a 0, it will spark up in the north. You can actually see that down in the... I've got a couple things to help me with troubleshooting the script left over. The script is pretty well done, but I've got those numbers that are being generated displaying in the bottom corner. You'll see that it's a 5 there. Every time it generates one in the south, this is part of the troubleshooting, it then generates a second number. I've got a siren here, 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 and all along the bottom here. And these are the siren locations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So first, in the example of number 2, it generates a 2. It then generates a 5, and then it plays that one right there. Then it generates another number. Ideally, it's not going to be number 2. I actually have a couple fail safes to make sure that the odds of it generating 2 twice are extremely likely, or extremely unlikely, rather. Now, the unfortunate thing is I don't really have a lot to go on as this next bit comes into play. It does take a while for the siren to deactivate, and that's just due to the nature of the audio files. But once you hit deactivate siren, a Boolean variable switches and basically says the city is no longer under attack. So it stops generating random numbers to decide which sirens to play. So if I go into the Zeus here, yeah, you can see the random numbers have stopped generating. The remaining sirens are going to finish their cycles and spool down. This one's already starting here. And then once that audio file is done, it's good to go and play the all clear signal. And the all clear signal goes from the west side of the town to the east, and it is a each siren sparks up, plays a continuous tone. You can hear that the sirens, they rise and they fall and they rise and they fall in their RPMs. Awesome. But the all clear signal is a consistent tone for a good 30 seconds. And then they all spool down again. And we can hear all these sirens spooling down again. I'll let these sirens spool down. I'll show you the all clear signal, and then I'll actually dive into the code of the issue. And the code of the issue isn't anything too complicated if you have a basic understanding of how code works. Yeah, here. Is it actually this one? Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, so you can see the prop here, just 4 servers on either side of a portable power generator on top of a transmitter pole, and that makes for a fairly modern looking siren, which is good because if you hadn't noticed, over here, you also probably saw my mod list over here. I am developing this mission for a Star Sim operation. So we've got all kinds of, clone troopers over here. They're, these are the playable slots. It's just that I'm running the mission right now in single player. They're all like kind of just farting around. Let's see. One last once over. And it's very important to make sure that all the sirens are completely out. In fact, if you can hear birds around a siren, that means it's still not technically off. The reason for this is Arma 3, objects can only play one sound at a time. And there's not a whole lot that can be done about that. But if a siren is still spooling down and you hit the activate siren button, it's not going to play that sound. It's not going to play that sound because it's still playing the sound that it was assigned before you shut off the siren. But I think it's safe to say now, I think everything is pretty well shut down. Let's go back into the tower and we'll flip that switch on the console. And this only executes once. Sound all clear signal. There we go. It's all being heard across the town. And, this is just for battlefield ambience. It's not actually integral to the way the mission plays. The basic idea is they attack from the Haunter, and they're basically there to clear the town. It's just there for ambience. Chances are I'll probably run a music file over it. It shouldn't be too overbearing as far as sound effects are concerned either. Blaster fire, explosions, that kind of thing, they will all easily overbear these sirens. Excuse me. So, now that that's all shown to you, let me show you the code. And I just spark up my, here we go. Yes, I do use Notepad++. Visual Studio fighters can fight me on that one. So, this is the actual meat and potatoes of it. Include variable holders.sqf. That just means, here. This is just for the Boolean variables. So, there's, I suppose I don't even really need those to be part of the variables, but regardless, the important one is attacking city. Attacking city starts false. Attacking city starts false. And it's only set to true. It's only set to true when you press the button here, because that runs activate siren.sqf. It says activate the Air Raid Siren. The three startup sirens play. It sleeps for 15 seconds. Attacking city is set to true right here. The last zone is set to 0, and the last siren is set to 0. That is part of this, which is while attacking city is true, a loop is going to execute, which means it will, for those uninitiated in computer science, it will execute all of this code until attacking city is true. So here we get select zone. And it's a random number generator that generates one of 3 numbers, 0, 1, or 2. Pick a number and that picks the random number for the north, west, or south of the city. If the last zone is the current zone being selected, then regenerate the number, and that has to happen at least. This check has to happen at least twice in order to make sure that the chances of selecting the same zone twice are incredibly, incredibly slim. But once you've settled on a final number, you set the variable last zone to select zone. So it saves that in memory for us. It remembers, if you will, what zone we selected. So, what do we do with that selected zone? Well, we do a switch case based on it. A 3-point switch case. Case 0, north. If it generates a 0, it's going to pick a siren in the north. If it is case 1, it will pick a siren in the west. And if it's case 2, it will pick a siren in the south. What does it do at that point? Well, now it needs to select a siren. So we'll use north as an example. Select siren. Generate a random number between 0 and 13, because there are 14 sirens. Case 0 is North Siren 01, and case 13 is North Siren 14. And at that point, it's basically this is just a copy essentially of this code here. It makes sure that you're not generating a number twice. Given that there's more numbers to choose from in the random number generator, we're not being nearly so anal about whether or not it's generating the same number twice, so we only need to run this once. Same deal, we assign the selected siren to a variable so that we can remember it. You could probably make that a little more. Robust by saying, last siren north, for example, and last siren north is last siren north. That way, for each select, it would remember the siren chosen for each zone. I'm not going to be that particular, but you could if you wanted to. But what do we do at this point? Well, we've selected a siren now, so we do another switch case, nested switch case, sorry. Select siren, case 0, siren north 01, case 13, siren north 14. And we just say 3D, track warning siren. This basically plays the file that we have in our media bin, which is... here we go. That file right there. It is an OGG file. You will need to run it as OGG or it won't work. It also saves on space. So where are these variables? Where do we get siren north from? Because I haven't declared it in variable holders. Well, if we return to the Eden editor, please return to the Eden editor. Thank you, Arma 3. We can look at these transmitter poles, and you see on the rugged portable generator, siren north 14. So that siren right there is going to be the one selected in the event that our random number generator generates a 13. Now, when it comes to the troubleshooting thing I had, all I did was system chat string select siren. We don't really need that because our thing is already done. We also had it for select zone. So it was displaying which zone was selected. And then in the case of the south sirens, it was also displaying what siren it generated. And that was because I noticed in testing, I used north as a template because it was the one that had the most sirens. And here I have two digits on the end of it. Here I only have one, and it's also specified as the direction of the zone. Basically, I screwed up my variables, and that's all that there is to that. So now that brings us to deactivate siren.sqf. This, very simple, include variable holders.sqf, attacking city equals false. This breaks this loop. So after the loop as soon as the loop finishes executing, so imagine it sleeps for 15 seconds after it does the meat and potatoes. It sleeps for 15 seconds, and during that 15 seconds, you hit deactivate siren. So you hit deactivate siren. When it goes back to check, is attacking city still true? It stops because it's not, and it just breaks and it stops doing the file. At that point, all of the sirens that are playing, they spool down, and the file stopped playing. So that's where sound all clear comes in, and you press that button, and this is entirely scripted. It only executes once. Siren West 6, Siren West 4, South 5, North 7, North 10, oh fuck, and South 8 and North 04. That's basically this one, these two, I think, and these two, as well as this one. So, now, you don't necessarily need to know which specific ones are firing. All you need to know is the logic, because this map is just one map. So I'll save that, and I'll make sure that my changes are saved too. Because this is not the first iteration of this script. It's just going to be the first one that I will have ever used in an op. Earlier this month, I tried to use it on a different mission file, and that mission file broke for reasons beyond my control. It's nothing to do with the script, but now that we've figured out what the problem is, I'm doing it again. So, Maruko, on the Dingor map, is not Petcher. It does not have an even remotely similar street structure. It can't use the same siren systems. You're going to need a different number of sirens. You're going to need, like, there are nowhere near as many sirens in this map as there were on the Petra map. And they're all in different places. I actually have it based on a different system. It's basically how close are they to the how close are they to the center of the town? And at that point, the question is then asked, well, are they north, south, east, or west? So, for example, if I go to this one, same composition again, Siren, Maruko Center. This is considered the center of the town. As we go further out, we get to this one, and we click on it, and it says Siren, Maruko, farther northwest. These are very bad variables. I wouldn't recommend using this system. I would just recommend cordoning off sections and saying West 1, West 2, West 3. We've got one for the airport barracks, which is separated from all that. We've got one for the slums, and then we've got one down here. Siren Maruko farther southwest. So that's that. Why am I telling you this? Well, basically, it means that you need to know the logic of this Siren script in order to be able to adapt it to the map you are going to use for your operation. So I'm already at around about a half an hour. Fuck, no, that's 20 minutes. That's not half an hour. Third of an hour. I don't really have time to show you making it from the ground up. But I'm sure if you just keep in mind that, let's see. So the first one you're going to need is variableholders.sqf. You're not going to need to touch that. Then you need activate-siren.sqf. This is where the meat and potatoes are. If you replicate this logic, and basically take it for granted, you should have no trouble whatsoever. Just change up your variable names, increase your switch case as needed, make sure that your random number generators are in the correct ranges, that kind of thing. Then you need deactivate siren.sqf. This is very hard to screw up. Then you need sound all clear, and that is pretty straightforward. After all that's done, well, you're going to need a place from which to activate these scripts. So, excuse me. There we go. So, you come over here, and this is where you activate your script from, this console right here. So, it's just a simple add action. This add action, activate the raid siren, that is the text that the user will see, and then that is the file of code, or that is the code file that it will execute. So you just remember, activate siren first, deactivate siren second, wait a second, and then sound the all clear. If you can manage that, you should have no problem using this script. If you do decide to use it, I realize that city assaults in Arma 3 are urban combat in general is just kind of difficult, but surely there's some use for it. Main city of Kavala would be a pretty good place to use this. That being said, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this is in some way useful to you. Peace.